on my phone, then reached for my glasses and slid them on. I'd taken them off hours ago. Staring at my computer for too long made my vision blur. I needed to visit an optometrist, but that would have to wait until after tax season, just like all the other forms of self-care I'd been putting off. I smiled when I saw the texts were from my best friend, Sophie. She'd been dropping by my apartment every night the past 2 weeks to feed Gracie and take in my mail while I was working inhuman hours. Sophie. Queen Gracie is fed and your mail is in its usual spot on the counter. Also, Gracie asked me to ask you if you are coming home soon. In cat language, of course. She's worried you're working too hard. I smiled. Sophie was so good to me. I glanced at the time and saw it was already 6:30. Shit. If I didn't want to be late for my monthly dinner with my family, I needed to leave the office in the next 10 minutes, and I was nowhere near finished with what I'd hoped to get done that day. I'm actually meeting my family for dinner tonight. Could you apologize to Gracie for me? I mean, I'm sure she'll forgive you. She's a cat, but I'm not a cat, and I'm worried about how late you've been working. You okay? Not really, I thought, but I wasn't going to dump how stressed I was on Sophie. In addition to being a mom to twin toddlers, her attorney husband had been in San Francisco the past 3 weeks for depositions. She was no stranger to ridiculous demands on her time. She didn't need to hear me complain about mine. I'm fine, just busy. Tell Gracie I hope to be home by 9:30. Please give her scritches for me and tell her I'm sorry. Will you be having dinner someplace where you actually can eat something this time? It's an Italian restaurant this time, so hopefully. I'd been a pescatarian since college, and a lactose intolerance that cropped up when I was in grad school meant I was off dairy. Ever since my brother Adam's twins were born 8 years ago, though, my dietary needs were usually an afterthought at best when it came to family get-togethers. Because Adam's kids were young, only casual restaurants with a children's menu and a high level of background noise were options. And Dad liked red meat too much to take us anywhere that didn't offer it. It was fine, though. I was the only one in our family who was single, and I didn't have kids. In the interest of being accommodating, I usually just went along with whatever the group wanted when we got together. Maybe it was the middle child in me, but making as few waves as possible had been my modus operandi for as long as I could remember. Sometimes I'd get lucky and my parents would pick an Italian restaurant with at least a few cheese and meat-free pasta options, like tonight. If I wasn't lucky, I'd have to wait until I got home to eat dinner. As if on cue, my stomach chose that moment to do a comically loud rumble. Well, I picked up some Chinese for the kids. They're getting fussy, so I'm about to take them home, but I'll leave the leftover veggie lo mein for you in your fridge. You're the literal best, Soph. When does Marcus get back from San Francisco? His last deposition is Thursday, so he'll be back Friday. In theory. You should have him on diaper duty for at least a week straight when he gets back. Oh, I'm demanding a full month. I smiled at my phone, feeling grateful. Hopefully Sophie would be able to take time for herself again once Marcus was finally back home. She was so giving to others, me included. She deserved to receive occasionally, too. Thanks, Soph. You're the best. When tax season is over, I'm treating you to a fancy dinner, and I'm not taking no for an answer. Dinner would likely go until 9, and I didn't think I'd have the energy to go back to the office afterwards. I stuffed Wyatt's latest paperwork into my briefcase, promising myself I'd finish reviewing it at home. The 32nd floor was still a hive of activity as I made my way to the elevator. I tried not to let the guilt over leaving at an hour some of the partners might consider early wash over me, because if I stayed late tonight, I'd be bailing on my family, and a guilt of an entirely different kind would ruin my evening. My building's HVAC system ran nonstop, but it was always chilly in the lobby during the winter on account of the giant floor-to-ceiling windows. That night was no exception. Even still, it looked much colder outside. On the other side of my building's revolving glass doors, pedestrians were hunched slightly forward in the distinctive way of people trying to get where they were going in unpleasant weather. The kind of early spring cold snap that always made me wonder why the hell my great-great-grandparents hadn't settled in California instead of Chicago when they